Hey everyone, how you doing tonight? Welcome to Bills Talk Online. I'm Mike Martinez, and alongside of me,
Spencer Tobin.
In today's show, we're going to be talking about the OTAs. That's a big thing going on this week, along with the power rankings. And we'll be discussing a fantasy football segment for this week, along with our favorite segment.
Of course. My favorite segment, Are You Out of Your Mind?
Are you out of your mind? So, Spencer, what do you got planned for us for this week?
Oh, man. Well, I'm looking at, obviously, we're going to hit some fantasy football up for you guys, too. You want to make sure we're getting that in. Some people think it's too early, but you know who those people are? The losers, the guys who come in last place. The guys who come in first, they start now.
Exactly. Start studying now. It's very important what fantasy football has actually come to. Mm-hmm. I remember a few years ago when I was first starting my fantasy football, we would all just get together and just start calling off players' names that we liked. Now it's a strategy. There's a science to it, and everybody takes it very seriously.
Oh yeah, I know I do. And for some reason though, I haven't won in a while. I used to win all the time, but it's just I hit a rut, and I just been messing up. But I think this year I'm in good shape. I got some extra draft picks in my league. You can trade draft picks for players. They can carry into the next year, and so I was kind of like losing at the end of last season. So I kind of sold the farm. Kept a couple good players up for myself. It's also a keeper league. I got Jordy Nelson. I got Chris Johnson. So I think I'm going to keep those two guys, but I hope the guys in my league don't know that because they could use that against me. So I might change my mind. But I got some extra draft picks. That should translate me into me winning some extra games here, maybe the whole shebang.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I was so bad, I quit playing. Yes, with everything I got going on, it's just too hard to sit there and put the time and effort into really putting a team together that I like.
It's tough. It's like a second job. You got to always be on the ball because these guys, if you're not, your competitors will be.
Yeah, they'll pick up somebody that's on the wire, and by the time you're looking for them, you're done.
Done. They're already taken. Well, let's get to work on the show here. We're going to talk about OTAs. Those are starting this week all over the league. But obviously, we're going to hit on the Bills. We're going to hit up on a few extra things. Some highlights. Marcus Mariota's getting some kudos from his teammates there. They're saying, hey, he's a scrambling quarterback. He's an athlete, and he's a lot faster than they thought. So they said he was hitting a lot of passes in the practice too. He wasn't missing or misfiring. He was really nailing it. Threw one pick, but that's impressive for a rookie on his first day, I guess.
I agree with you. I definitely agree. Marcus Mariota is someone that I think has a good opportunity to do well in the league. I just hope Cleveland doesn't thrust him right in to the starting position. Tennessee, excuse me. Wrong team. Practice run. Tennessee doesn't thrust him right into the starting position, and because somebody, back when we were growing up, you didn't draft a quarterback and throw him right in. And that can only happen once every few years. Peyton Manning, a Andrew Luck type of quarterback. They actually had time to let these guys learn the system. I mean, they're being brought in, these young kids, 19, 20, 21, 22 years old, to lead a team. They don't even know how to.
Yeah, they got a young guy in there right now, Zach Mettenberger, I think his name is, but he showed a little promise last year. I think it'd be smart to see if this guy can still follow through and become a good quarterback as well, plus give Mariota some time there. But let's move on to some other things around the league. As far as Adrian Peterson, I mean, some people think maybe his career's done, maybe he should quit playing. Peterson wants out of Minnesota, but they're not talking trade at all. This sounds like they want to keep him.
He's a good player. Why would you want to let him go?
I wouldn't. You can't get enough back for a player like that. You know what I mean? And
no.
You drafted him. You got to stick to your guy. He knows the system. He's ready to go now, and he's going to carry your team on his back. He's too much of a leader. You can't trade him.
I mean, why does he want to leave Minnesota? Where is he going to go in these United States that doesn't know what he did? So wherever he goes, he's going to have that over his back.
Maybe he's thinking it's a fresh start, but like you said, it's going to follow you everywhere. He's too famous.
Whether he deals with it in Minnesota or he deals with it in the next city, as soon as they bring him in, the media is gonna feed off of it. They're just gonna attack.
Oh yeah.
At least in Minnesota, he has established some type of he has established a fan base. There are still media out there that support him.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I mean, the guy did make one heck of a mistake.
Yeah.
But I think everybody deserves a second chance.
Yeah, maybe he can earn that, and I'd like to see the guy play again. He's pretty talented. Let's move on to the Bills.
Hey.
OTAs, Buffalo Bills. I'm excited. It's getting close. It's getting real close.
Oh, man. We just got a few more weeks. About 8 more weeks till the first preseason game, somewhere like that.
I don't know. I got to count. I'm just so excited that it's just past the draft. The guys are getting in their their locker rooms. They're starting to go over the playbooks. They're starting to learn the systems, and we're starting to getting to weed out who's going to actually be the guys who are going to fill in these positions, and who's going to start tailing off and going to the practice squads. But that's really this is more to get the guys in shape and get familiar with the system and the coaches. But I'm sorry, but it's too obvious this early. Even the guys who have been staying in shape all year, they came to show that that's their job. Yeah. Nobody's taking their job. They're too competitive.
Well, one thing I will say about Buffalo is that they definitely gave us a lot to talk about with all the moves in the offseason. It gave us a lot as fans to be excited about, and definitely looking forward to watching the position battles going on, and to see who makes it and who gets cut.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of one of those off-season acquisitions, unfortunately, as excited as we are about him, Lesean Mccoy was out of the OTA practice just for today, though. It's got a minor neck twinge or tweak going on back there. Rex says it's not a big deal, nothing serious. But
probably slept wrong on one of those very comfortable pillows at home.
Oh, yeah. St. John Fisher. No, they're not down there yet. They're somewhere here in Buffalo. I don't know if he's got renting a place or a hotel, but you got to make sure you're taking care of your body at all times, because we want to hear some news about this guy and what he's going to do on the field. I'm anxious. I'm excited. I think he's going to get 300 carries this year. They're going to pound the ball, and they're going to use him a lot.
I agree with you. I think he's going to do a great job, but with him being out, it's letting someone else shine. One of our old favorites, Fred Jackson, definitely getting an opportunity to show Rex Ryan that he's still got the stuff. Definitely taking advantage of busting through some holes in the OTAs.
Yep.
And, that in conjunction, you cannot forget the blocker that he is.
Yeah.
Look at the hit that he put on J.J. Watt last year. That bruise on his inner thigh. Come on, man. You can't just, you got to go. You can't do that to a player like that.
No, he's serious. Fred Jackson is a very, very determined player, a competitive guy, and he disciplines himself, and he's very textbook. He executes, and that's why he's been playing this long in the league and doing so well. I mean, the guy, maybe he's lost a little bit here and there, but nothing significant. He's still a valuable player.
Yes.
And he's got a really cool new visor. If you guys have seen his visor.
Did you see the visor?
Oh,
yes.
I loved it.
Did you see the visor? The Buffalo Bills visor. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's got the logo right on his visor. And as it shines in the light reflects blue and red off there, which is that's pretty neat. I like that a lot.
It's the intangibles, I like Bryce Brown. I like Booby Dixon. I like them both a lot. I mean, the veteran leadership that this guy has, he along with the fact that he is still going to hit them holes. I mean, he's a player. I mean, his motto, his song should be started from the bottom. Now I'm here. Because, coming from Cole College through NFL Europe, finally getting his chance to play, and his numbers are not that far off from Thurman Thomas's.
He's put up some really good numbers quietly. People just like him and say, hey, he fills a great role. He's a good player. But at the end of his career, they're going to look back and say, wow, I didn't realize he put up that many yards or that many points.
Exactly.
He's quietly made an excellent career for himself, and I hope he retires a Bill, but not anytime soon.
Well, yeah, and he's definitely the oldest running back in the league, but I think he's probably kept his body in as good or better shape than most of the other running backs in the league.
Yeah, I think that's why he's playing. He's the oldest running back in the league, but still playing well because, like I said, he disciplines himself. Yeah. He takes care of his body, and that's what's going to help you in the long run. And playing textbook, not playing sloppy. The coaches coach you one way for a reason because it protects you too, and it allows you to obviously make better plays, but stay on the field longer.
Yes, and he's about business too. I just wanted to throw that one in there before we move on.
You ever think about the people he outlasts? He's been outlasting running backs since Travis Henry.
Yeah,
Travis Henry.
That's right.
Willis McGahee. Then Marshawn Lynch.
Yep.
C.J. Spiller.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yes, he's a
He
truth.
might have Kai Williams might be the most tenured Bills. Am I right about that? Or
You very well may be.
yeah, Kai Williams is been here the longest, but
He was just on Jim Rome today.
was he really?
Yeah.
Yeah, good for him. He's another guy. He's a cornerstone of this team. He's a good locker room guy, from what I understand, and like he wears the C, right? There's a good reason for that too.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. What do we have next?
Well, I think you wanted to touch on running backs. I think you mentioned earlier before the show. As far as Fred Jackson going down the line, might as well throw this out there. I think we touched on this last week, but this could always change from week to week. Who do you think is the depth chart for our running backs?
That's hard, man. That's hard. I would have to say, as far as performance goes, not potential, but performance, unless something shows different in the OTAs and training camp, I would have to put Bryce Brown in my book.
Yeah.
Towards the bottom.
Towards the bottom.
Towards the bottom.
Yeah.
Yes, I definitely between what, of course, we got Lesean McCoy. So he's number one.
He's clear cut, yeah.
There's no question about that. And then, unless there's a significant decline in Fred Jackson's abilities, which I can't see him, or barring an injury, between his leadership, his blocking, because we have to block our quarterback, with the offensive line being still an open battle right now. We have to have something that's solid back there.
Yeah.
And so that's where Fred Jackson really plays a strong part in my choice. And Boobie Dixon, who's a hard runner, you know, the fumbles in my eyes are hurting Bryce Brown right now.
Yeah.
He only had one last year, and 1 year before that.
His reputation of a fumble, I guess, is really
Yeah.
what's
The reputation of the fumble.
They were just talking about that on the radio, and it's only 2 fumbles in the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
You are right, but that fumble kept us out of the playoffs.
I agree, but that's still yet unfair to lay that all on one fumble.
You know what? And you're right, Ralph. It's just who then?
I agree with you. Basically, by blind default, my lineup is that it's McCoy, Jackson, Dixon, Bryce Brown, and Williams. If Williams sticks around as a running back, I think that's just by default right now. But enough information coming out of OTAs, that's just that's where I'm pegging them if I was guessing.
Yeah. So obviously early predictions, as you guys are saying here. I'm going to go, obviously, Lesean McCoy, number 1. That's easy. But after that, I think for the majority of the time, it's going to be Boobie Dixon, the number 2 running back. Unless it's just passing situations, I think they're bringing Fred. But I put Fred 3 on the depth chart for a running back. Then Bryce Brown. And then who's the rookie? I forgot his name. Carlos Williams. Thank you. So I think Williams end up on, obviously, practice squad. I don't see him making the regular roster.
Another note I found out is that Dickerson is now considered a running back. He's no longer a fullback. That's another thing that's just recently changed as far as titles. So that's actually 5 running backs.
Really?
Because the last time we were talking about being 3 fullbacks, being
Felton.
Yeah. Dickerson's now actually considered a running back this season.
Really?
Yep.
That's going to make it a little bit harder. I don't understand. We're going to have to leave that, to some more.
Unless they want to put him on special teams for,
Just throwing it out
whatever
there.
reason, but
I think he has a better chance of making tight end position than the running back position.
Maybe for goal line work.
Yep.
It's not a bad idea, You want to move on?
Sure.
Okay. Moving on. Before we actually get into quarterbacks and some other things, some of the notable guys that were out of the OTAs today. Watkins was limited, obviously. Goodwin is down in Texas because of the unfortunate floods going on down there. Out also was Aaron Williams and Gilmore. We mentioned McCoy's neck, and that's it as far as the guys who are missing, except of course Chris Williams.
Chris Williams, yeah. I don't understand what's going on in Chris Williams' head right now. You got a new coach, a new coaching staff. It's your second year on the team. So it's not like he's, a fixture where he could say, well, Coach, I had to take care of this or I had to take care of that. From what I understand, he hasn't even called or had any excuse why he hasn't been there. So I don't understand what's going on in his head right now.
Yeah.
He could definitely play himself out of a job if he allows it to continue. What are your feelings on this?
Yeah, when you got a new coaching staff, it's you got to make a new impression, and you got a new opportunities where you got to look at it. I mean, it's not like, oh man, I gotta impress these guys. No, this is an opportunity for you to solidify yourself in the offensive line, which can lead to other things, bigger contracts, things like that. You got to first make that impression by showing up on day one. I know it's voluntary, these OTAs. Even Rex said that. He said it's voluntary. I understand that, but in the back of his mind, you can just underlying in his words, you can hear like, come on, get here, man, get here. He's assuming he's doing everything he needs to stay in football shape, but you can't do that. You got to get the one Bills drive. You got to be there with the guys. You got to start gelling. You got to start learning the system and talking to the coaches.
I mean, I can't fathom how, as a fan, once the OTAs start and the rookie mini camps start, I'm drooling. I can't fathom how he's not at home right now, ready to play, ready to come down and be with this team. I mean, when you're doing something you love, you can't wait to get back to it.
Yeah. I mean, it might be a job to some of these guys, but to people who aren't in the league or guys who almost made the league or just tasted it for maybe a mini camp, that's a dream. That's a dream job. That's a lifetime dream. Even for fans, I mean, everybody's fantasized. Man, it would be great to catch a touchdown pass. Everybody wants to do this job, so you got to find a way to get excited about that, and you got to be there on day one, or you're shooting yourself in the foot.
I don't know. You got these Pro Bowlers that are at the volunteer camp.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to be there.
Yeah.
All
Maybe
right.
he'll prove us wrong. Maybe he'll come in and make us look stupid for what we just said. I hope so.
Hopefully. I like to be made stupid when it's talking about something I care about.
Yeah.
And just real quick, Watkins is out right now still
dealing with the groin, the surgery, I believe it was, right, from last year, carrying it on over.
I believe that's what it is.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Good. So he'll be ready by preseason, if I remember correctly.
He'll be fine.
Yeah,
There's not going to be any holdups.
Right.
So he's still participating limited, so he's making progress. So.
Good.
Yeah. What else can we talk? Oh, the O-line. All right. Well, comes out that it's nobody's a lock. Every position is open to be won, which we got a lot of bodies in there who. Another reason why Chris Williams should be there.
Yeah.
Rex is letting everybody go at it. He's saying, hey, Eric Wood, you might be the left guard this year. You might be somewhere else.
Right.
You guys got to earn your spots, and that's something we need to do to shake things up, to make guys light a fire under their butt, make them want to win that position. And I think it'll get the best players at the best positions, but it'll also give them 110% instead of just 100%.
Oh, I definitely agree. I like the idea of saying no one owns any position.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's going to get out there. They're going to fight. You want to start, you're going to fight.
Yeah.
And it's going to make for a great competition. I have full faith in with the amount of offensive linemen that we have on the roster right now, that he's going to find the best ones for each spot and get them out there and get something going that's going to gel.
Rex is a good coach. He's going to find the best combination that's going to work to protect the quarterback and open up holes, because this guy knows that to succeed, if he wants to do his round and pound, got to open holes. So he's not going to let any guys just line up anywhere. Yeah. He's going to find the best combination, and he doesn't care if you're losing your last year's position, your last spot. It doesn't matter.
It's not your spot.
It's about the team.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. And just to go along with that real quick, and Rex wanting to put the best 11 players on the field, Corey Graham moving over to free safety.
Yeah.
So he's definitely wants to get the right person for each position. Corey,
and he's familiar with
cornerback
Corey's talents because they've worked together before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So with him and Duke Williams playing, no, it won't be Duke, it'll be Aaron Williams.
Aaron Williams
playing the safety spots.
Right.
McKelvin and Gilmore
yep.
and the corners, and Darby. Hopefully he's been having a little bit of troubles. You were telling me.
Well, just not so much trouble. It's just he's got a lot to learn.
Some growing pains.
That's what they're saying. I was reading up on Joe Biscaglia's. Or Biscaglia? I'm sorry. I think it's Biscaglia. I pronounced it wrong. My apologies. Anyways, he was writing up what he saw at the OTAs today, so I kind of read that and it was pretty interesting stuff. He had a lot of points to make, but it just sounded like the coaches were on him a bit, and just. But you need that. You need that because he's new. He's got a lot to learn, and it shows. But doesn't mean he's not good. He actually picked off Tyrod Taylor.
There you go.
He's got an INT already.
So hopefully he'll get his game up to the level. At least he could be our nickel corner or something like that. I just like the way that nothing's set in stone. Rex is going to get the best players on the team at each position. Yeah. So
he'll mix it up, and that's a good thing. Let's talk QBs. You want to hit that?
QBs. It's still wide open. We're just being the second day of OTAs. I've been telling everybody from the beginning. I'm an EJ fan. Don't get me wrong. I was very happy when they drafted the young man. But I'm very interested, and I've been saying this from the beginning, in what Tyrod Taylor brings to the table. Yeah. And we all know what Matt Castle does. He's an 11-year veteran, had some ups, had some downs. So this is it for him. This is probably his last opportunity, if he gets the starting nod, to take a team to the playoffs. They've been saying things about EJ. Some days they're saying he's off. Some days, some depends on which reporter is reporting at the time. We don't have access yet to the field to see it with our own eyes. Right. But so we have to take the word of others sometimes. And reading that he's again a good grasp of the offense. They're not holding anything back from him. He's picking up his receivers on the routes and letting the ball rip with a lot of confidence. So that bodes well for him.
Yeah. I heard somebody who had seen this guy run before, say he doesn't run like a quarterback. He runs like a running back.
We're talking about Tyrod.
Tyrod Taylor. I'm sorry. Yeah. He's a really good scrambler from what I hear.
Well, I read a statement that he made the other day. He said, "I'm not a running quarterback. I'm a quarterback that can run," and I like that. Yeah. I like that. So he definitely puts quarterbacking before running. Yeah. Rex seems to like him, but at this stage, like I was saying last week, there's a lot of politics involved. No one's blatantly doing anything ridiculously wrong, so he's not going to go out there and just start throwing dirt on anyone.
Way too
exactly.
early. Yeah.
Why are you going to take anyone's confidence away this early in the camps?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They've been mixing it up with who's working the first teams, who's working with the second, teams, and from the early indications, it sounds like Matt Castle had the better of the days there. Nobody really blew anybody away, but at this point, Matt Castle seemed to be the most, from what I hear, the most poised. And had the most success with the receivers, helped the receivers out a little bit just because of his knowledge of the game and his experience.
Right. And that might be what the Bills need, and that might be what takes him over to the next level. We never know. It's still up in the air. Rex does plan, so he's saying, again, there's a lot of smoke screen, but he does plan so far to keep all three quarterbacks on the roster. He's not planning on letting any of them go. Yeah. So that would be tool to the practice squad and keeping the other three on the field, which I think might be a little much. We could probably use another player, special teams wise, or in depth in another position. But hey, he's the one. He's the coach. He's the one making all the money.
Speaking of letting go, the Bills were not able to, or decided not to, re-sign Brandon Spikes. Yeah. Unfortunately, I liked having the guy on. He brought some attitude, some swagger. Yes. And that was a good player. But unfortunately, he went back to the Patriots.
Yeah, I wasn't too happy with that move. I really wanted them to keep him as well. He was definitely an impact player, on the team, as and motivational. Right now we got Preston Brown sliding in the starting position. You were the one telling me about Ty Powell?
I believe it was Ty Powell was actually starting to show some signs of pushing the other guys, maybe for possibly stealing a spot, but it's going to take a little more work. But he's a guy who's, from what I heard, is bringing up his game. He's really starting to learn a little more, and he could possibly push other guys out of a spot. But I think we're pretty good with Bradham and
Preston Brown.
Thank you.
Well, they got Bradham at the strong linebacker slot for right now. So with the multiple sets, we are going to see both the 3-4 and the 4-3. So there are going to be times when we're going to need two linebackers in there. So with Jonathan Randall on the weak side and Bradham on the strong side,
right.
we're going to be able to see a little bit of Ty Powell and Preston Brown playing together possibly.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, let's not forget about who we signed from the 49ers as a free agent last year. Help me out here. Who's our other linebacker that was?
Talking about Manny Lawson.
Manny Lawson.
Manny Lawson.
Almost escaped me. You can't forget about this guy.
Yeah,
he played well.
This actually suits him. The 3-4. He's an outside linebacker for a 3-4 defense. He's meant more for pass rushing than the 4-3 type of outside linebacker. So this favors him. So
maybe we'll have some more success.
And the reason just looking at this quickly, the reason I didn't bring him up because he what's the word I'm looking for? He did impact, had a lot of impact plays on the team last year.
Oh yeah.
But they have him listed here on the depth chart as a right defensive end, which kind of threw me off a little bit. Second to Jerry Hughes. So that's why when I was just talking linebackers, I didn't even click about Manny Lawson.
Yeah,
I'm sure that in certain situations that might be the other linebacker that we see up there.
It's pretty wild how some of these guys can go from one position to another.
Yeah,
it's just the 3-4 making Jerry Hughes a linebacker at times, though. That is a linebacker you're not actually adding into this equation.
That is
true.
That is true.
Because at the times when there is a 3 front, especially bringing Alex Carrington back, that's a true defensive end for a 3-4.
Right.
So you're probably going to see Kyle Williams, Darius, and Carrington on the field, front 3 on a 3-4.
And you throw a lot of smoke and mirrors in it with quarterbacks too.
And Mario Williams, I mean, again, I'm forgetting about.
Mario Williams is going to play some of the linebacker position.
He can move around.
Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of fun at linebacker. So we might actually see Bradham and Preston Brown in the middle slots with Hughes and Williams on the outside spots in the 3-4.
I think Williams is big enough to play the normal end. He's like a Bruce Smith type of guy. He could play an end on the 3-4.
Oh yeah,
he's
I don't think they're going to take him out of that. I think he will be. I totally forgot about him with my last comment, but I can't see Alex Carrington pushing Mario Williams out of the picture.
There's a lot of newer, younger quarterbacks in the league too. A lot of guys have been in the league for less than 5 years, which 5 years is usually that year quarterbacks really click. Mm-hmm. So I mean that's gonna give us an advantage when we play some of these teams to really just disguise some defenses and just really confuse these guys. So that should end up some turnovers. Maybe some extra sacks. So that should bring us some more success there.
I just hope they don't mess with too much of a good thing. We have a very solid defense. Mm-hmm. Don't add too much to it, so that this way the guys are have a long learning process. Very excited that the defense was as good as it was last year, and we were in a big blitzing defense. A lot of 4-man fronts. Mm-hmm. So now coming into this season with Rex Ryan and him being a blitz master, someone that loves to blitz, the fronts that they're going to show, the changes. We're going to see a lot of different things on defense. I just don't want them to make it too technical. Don't outcoach yourself. Don't pull.
Yeah.
Basically,
I totally hear what you're saying. I mean, just as the old KISS, keep it simple, stupid. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's that sort of thing. Don't get too smart for yourself. Don't be too smart for your own good.
Don't pull a Pete Carroll and blow the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Don't second guess yourself or outsmart yourself. Yeah,
exactly.
Which I don't think we'll have that problem. I think Rex is continuing to learn himself. So he's always become a better coach every single day, just like a player becomes a better player every day. So I don't think that's an issue we got to worry about, which is why we hired a great coach like him with that great experience. Is really he was the best available guy, because frankly some of the other guys who are available were just less experienced. They might have great minds, but we wanted that experience. We wanted the guy who's been down the road and he could say, hey, this is not my first rodeo.
And more so than that, I love the coaching team that he put together.
Yeah. Greg Roman coming in is awesome.
Yes, very awesome. I'm a little excited about that.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll be here more than a year like Pettit. And
yeah, that was disappointing.
Yeah, that was a little disappointing. But hey, everything happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
What do we have now?
All right, what's next on tap is let's set up some the roster talent power rankings.
I was very interested about that. They have NFL.com. Bucky Brooks has the Buffalo Bills ranked second most talented team in the league right now.
Yeah.
With 10 blue chip players, that not even including Sammy Watkins or Aaron Williams. They're saying those two are up on the rise, so they can easily turn into blue chip players this year. That would give us 12 blue chip players, 12 top notch players.
Yeah.
That's not even considering the quarterback situation. We're the second most talented team in the NFL, and we have no quarterback.
Yeah.
So if one of these quarterbacks decide to fill this void and
step up his game and just
we could easily be the most talented team in the NFL.
That's how I feel. We're a quarterback away from winning the Super Bowl, dominating and winning the Super Bowl. And I feel with a good quarterback, good play at that position, I can't see what could stop us but ourselves.
I agree with you. Mm-hmm. And also they Bucky Brooks also has the Bills D-line as the second scariest group to face in the NFL.
Come on. Who's scarier than us?
I don't even want to say their name.
Oh, no.
The Dallas Cowboys offensive line.
Wait, offensive line?
Offensive line. Yes. So
it's scarier than our defensive line?
Yes. They're the number one.
Okay.
That's how he has it. You never know. Maybe everything will fall into place. The moon, the stars, and everything like that. And we can show them that we're that much better than them in the Super Bowl.
Maybe. That'd be nice revenge.
That would be
they
a
beat
sweet
us twice
revenge.
in the Super Bowl.
Yes, yes, it definitely would be.
Yeah.
But just to go back, because AFC is very tough. The Jets made that list too, and their defensive line was slotted at number 8, most scariest lines.
Yeah.
Or groups rather, and their cornerbacks are at number 4.
I will say this probably all season long. I really like the moves the Jets made. I'm not a Jets fan. I'm just saying I'm really impressed with the moves they made. They went from being the punching bag of our division, basically, and overnight turned into somebody who can compete for the second spot, possibly even the first spot in our division. I think they got enough talent, and with a little luck thrown their way, I think these guys could really challenge for the championship of our division.
Just don't bring them to face Buffalo, okay? We all saw what happened to Geno last year when he played Buffalo. They're putting all their chips on Geno. I'm not sure, honestly, how well that's going to work out for them.
I don't know. I don't think Geno's a lock. I think it's his job to lose right now, but I think Fitzpatrick with Chan Gailey, on their sidelines is going to make a little pull because they got a history together. And that veteran experience, it's going to come to a point just like we did last year with Orton, where they're going to say, all right, Geno, why don't you sit on the sidelines and let us, chase down some wins here and maybe get a wild card spot. But I think Fitzpatrick, when he meets us, if he does, and he meets us twice, it's going to be a close game because if you don't think he wants a little bit of a, revenge or put a feather in his cap to say, hey, you guys let me go, I'm going to prove you wrong. He's gonna do that.
Well, I'll admit to you that I'm more nervous to play the Jets with Fitzpatrick as the quarterback than Geno, and it has nothing to do with his wanting to put the feather or nothing like that. This man is a player. No matter what, he's a player. He'll throw that interception, right? He'll throw that 50-yard interception, right? And then the next series, he'll throw the ball 50 yards again on you.
He is a less successful Brett Favre.
Yes. he is a fearless player.
Yeah, he's just a gunslinger, and he will take those chances. But with anything, great risk can get you great rewards. So
yes.
Mm-hmm.
As far as that goes, that's all that I had as far as the rankings go.
Okay. Well, then that should bring us to our favorite segment of the show. Someone want to help me out with this?
Are you out of your mind?
Yes, we are. No, we're not, but I'll tell you who is out of their minds. We got a short list this week. Nothing too crazy going on. But a couple things we can touch on real quick. As far as if you're out of your mind, obviously, we touched on it early. Chris Williams not arriving to OTAs yet, not taking that extra oomph to get his leg up on the competition. Chris Williams,
are you out of your mind?
Are you out of your mind?
You gotta be, Chris. Get in here.
Yeah.
Another guy. Oh boy, this guy I believe was a rookie last year on the Dallas Cowboys. Joseph Randle. They say he's got some potential. Who? Exactly. Who? Well, this guy, Mr. Who, comes out and says, hey, it's no big deal that DeMarco Murray's gone. He's pretty confident that he can replace DeMarco Murray.
Are you out of your mind?
Yes. Let's see. Here we go. Another guy. Might be out of his mind. Maybe not a huge out of your mind, but Bob Kraft, who is really still putting up a big fight, saying, hey, the league owes us an apology, this and that. We're not going to pay those penalties. Well, he turned his story around, and now he's going to accept all the fines, the penalties, and everything coming their way. But what's with the change of heart? I mean, why are you not sticking to your guns after all this time? For over, almost a year now? You've been saying, hey, we are innocent, and at the last minute, you're going to say we're guilty.
Well, I think that's because his personal conversation with Goodell said, hey, man, I can't get you out of this one.
Mm-hmm.
So for Robert Kraft even thinking he was going to get away with this shit,
are you out of your mind? Lastly on our list for this segment is those Miami Dolphins. Oh, my God. Are they letting the fans run the team now? Ryan Tannehill. Not a bad quarterback. I wouldn't mind him on my team. But not for 5 years, $75 million.
Man.
Are you out of your mind, Miami? Yeah.
So, that's unbelievable. I can't
brutal.
see paying that man, what was it?
$15 million a year for 5 seasons.
5 years, $75 million?
million.
How much of it is guaranteed, do you know?
I don't know, but...
Probably about $5.
Why not? But
Everything else is
yikes.
bonus based.
Yeah, you don't pay him like a top quarterback when he's not. He's not even a top-tier quarterback.
He did play good last year. I will give the guy that. I don't think he played $75 million good. I don't think he played $15 million a year good.
And that's the point. He did not play that well, but he played well. All right, well, let's move on to, I think a lot of people might be chomping at the bit for this, fantasy football.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Back into this. We are going to rank what we think are the top 10 fantasy wide receivers for this coming season, at least at this point. Obviously, we got to get through mini camps and preseason, but at this point, on paper, these should be your top guys according to us.
Yes.
Now, Mike, do you want to take the reins here and start, or do you want me to go ahead and give you
I like to go... No, you know what? I went first last time.
Yeah.
You go ahead.
All right. Maybe you'll learn a thing or two here. All right. I think the clear-cut wide receiver, the number one guy this year, Antonio Brown, Pittsburgh Steelers. He had a good season. A lot of guys had a good season last year, but the reason is I think he's consistently putting up good numbers. There's guys who can, have off weeks and this and that. He was very consistent as far as how I feel. That's what wins your championships because, hey, your whole team could not show up one day, and if this guy blows up, he's the only guy that shows up, that might be the difference between a win or a loss. So you go consistent, and you can make the playoffs in your fantasy football leagues, I'll tell you that. Number 2 on my list, we're going to move on to Jordy Nelson. A lot of people might rank him lower, but I'll tell you what, that's another guy who more times than not will give you some consistency, and he can just blow up. I think when he has a bad game, he's still scoring, in most leagues, PPR leagues is what I'm in, but most leagues he'll score you maybe 10 to 15 points on a bad day. On a good day, he can go all the way up to 40s in some leagues. So that's another guy, I think, because of consistency and the fact that he can have some really big games, is a guy that I would target at number 2. Going on to number 3, this guy's really made some noise about his style when it comes to making catches. But a lot of people wouldn't say, hey, I'm not going to rank this guy really that high based on his style. Odell Beckham. Okay, yeah, it's his second year, and I'm going to put him at number 3. And that might be a ballsy thing to do, but I think the guy's going to start becoming a consistent receiver as well. And that's what I'm preaching here, is consistency. It's going to win you championships. So I feel like he's really going to become a weapon. Eli's going to rely on him more. The Giants will have more success because of him. I really think he's the guy you want on your team at number 3. Moving on to number 4. Remember, we're doing all 10, so if it's getting lengthy, tough shit. We're moving on to number 4. Can I say that? Okay.
You can say whatever you want until we start getting censored.
Demaryius Thomas. Some people might want to rank him higher than number 4. But I think with the loss of their tight end position, Julius Thomas going down to the Jacksonville, I think they're going to put a little more heat on him. I think he's going to get few less opportunities, which might result in a few less points. So he's going to drop down a little bit for me. He's not one of the top 3.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to Megatron. This guy got injured, so a lot of guys are going to push him out to the later, maybe 8, 9, or 10, maybe farther than that. It's not the first time he missed some games in a good chunk of the season and let some guys down, but only his second time. I'm telling you, this guy is the best receiver in the league. Detroit went ahead and drafted some offensive linemen to give Stafford more time. I think they're going to come back better as an offensive unit, which means I think Megatron's going to come back with a stronger season, possibly end up being the number 1 guy, but I just want to take a chance on someone like Antonio Brown, who I know is consistent, and just take a later gamble on Kelvin Johnson, number 5. But he's got a lot of upside to him this year. AJ Green coming in at number 6. This guy is somebody people seem to keep forgetting about, but he ends up winning so many games for so many fantasy owners. He's a guy you want to take high just because he doesn't let you down. Another guy in here, Dez Bryant. I got him dropped to number 7. I think he's overrated when it comes to fantasy. This guy is another guy who I've had on my team before. I think I might have had him twice, and he's let me down too many times. He's too streaky. He can really come up with a stinker, maybe only get you 3 points, maybe give you a couple of games in a row, and then you're like, all right, now he's on a roll, and then he'll just come back with another stinker and let you down again. Going on to number 8. Here's another guy that's going to be off somebody's radar, but he could be a steal, Julio Jones. When these guys get hurt a year before, people tend to shy away from that. But Julio Jones, I think, is going to be a better receiver this year because they've got some, I think they drafted a running back in Atlanta. They got a good one, so I think that takes some relief off the passing game. I think Julio Jones is going to have a better year. He won't get hurt this year. I'm pretty sure he's going to come back and have a solid full 17. Who am I? 16-game season. Then moving on to Randall Cobb. Now this guy's really proven himself. He came back on a nice contract. It looks like Green Bay was going to lose him. They re-signed him to a hefty contract. He's coming back this year, and I think him and Jordy Nelson are going to put up some gaudy numbers again. And lastly, number 10. This guy is going to really turn some heads this year, and it won't be a very big surprise. Ty Hilton. Basically, T.Y. Hilton is going to come, and he's got some aid with Andre Johnson, going to be on his right side. They're actually going to have a running game this year with Frank Gore. They still have Colby Fleener at tight end. They've got Moncrief in there. Who's their other receiver I'm missing there? I can't think of him, but it doesn't matter. These guys going to have a better season because there'll be less heat on him as far as the defensive coverage. So that rounds out my top 10 for fantasy this year. You can bank on those because I always have good, strong receiving core. It's always my running backs that I'm weak on. But I'm telling you, wide receivers is my forte. So if you want to hear some good wide receiver advice, listen to this guy here, not this guy.
Are you talking about me?
I'm talking about you. You are up to bat, my friend. Listen, what do you got?
Okay. Top receivers are top receivers. Mm-hmm. Pretty much got the same thing. We just got them jumbled around a little bit.
Okay.
Number 1, I got Brown.
Okay.
You know, he's the sure shot to be the number 1. At number 2, I'm going with Beckham.
Okay.
I think Manny's going to force the ball to him as often as possible.
He'll catch it. Doesn't matter, yeah.
He'll catch it. Unless he decides to go into that sophomore slump. Sometimes that happens.
It's a risk.
It is a risk. At 3, we got Demaryius Thomas. Solid. Solid all-around player. Number 4, my man Megatron.
All right.
God, I wish he was on our team.
He's outstanding.
Yes, he is. Just the size of him and everything like that. Not taking anything away from our receivers because we have some excellent receivers. What do I have here? Oh, number 5 is Calvin Johnson.
You said number 4 was Calvin Johnson.
Dez Bryant.
Dez Bryant.
Dez Bryant.
That's all right.
You know what?
Not a lot of oxygen here, I'm noticing.
I wrote
we're
5.
struggling with the oxygen here.
I wrote 5 next to the man's name, and I still said the wrong name.
Yeah, that's all right.
You know. But at 6, we got Jordy Nelson. 7, Julio Jones. I'm in agreement with you with Ty Hilton. You know, he's definitely rated lower than where he is. I like Alshon Jeffrey.
Yeah.
I think he's going to do something this year. And
now that Brandon Marshall's gone, he's the main man.
Exactly. So that's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you know what? As much as I want to put a Buffalo Bill here in this slot,
Yeah.
I can't.
You're not going to go with Watkins?
I can't. As much as I want to. And it's not because I don't think he's going to be a good player. He's phenomenal. But we have so many weapons.
Yeah.
The ball's going to get distributed left and right, left and right. I just don't see anyone having that type of numbers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's going to be a pretty even across the board.
I really do think so.
Yeah, a lot of catches coming on the backfield and some good tight end play will definitely take away from the receivers' catches. So
exactly. So at number 10, I'm going to go with Randall Cobb.
Randall Cobb.
Yes.
You can't beat it. The guy's, every year he's gotten a little bit better, so why not?
Yeah. You know what? This segment did bring up something that I did want to touch on today, and I'm going to squeeze it in real quick before we get out of here.
All right.
That's the wide receiver competition we have going on. Everybody figured that Percy Harvin was going to be a slot receiver, and they're showing that that's not the case. They got him lining up on the outside.
Yeah.
They got him lining up as the number 2, which moves Robert Woods into the slot.
Yeah, which I don't know. I can't imagine. I can't picture Robert Woods in the slot. I don't know. He's too good for that role. I just like him on the outside. I think that's where he's learned so far. I think it's going to be a transition maybe he can't adjust to right away.
Right. Well, they're going to tinker with that in training camp. They'll be tinkering with that and see how that all works out. But if that does happen, goes back to Chris Hogan.
Chris Hogan, I think he's guaranteed a spot on this team. I think he's just been too reliable. I can't see you getting rid of a guy who's reliable like that to risk bringing in somebody who's got to prove themselves. You know, I think Chris Hogan's going to be at the worst our 5th receiver, but he'll probably be. I think Goodwin's going to be the odd man out. I think Hogan takes his spot, so he might be our 4th receiver. Hogan.
I like what you're saying. It just if Robert Woods does transition well, you can't have 2 route runners like that on the team. I think you're going to need that speed guy, or even be able to matriculate the rookie and Lewis.
What's his?
I don't remember his first name.
I can't remember this guy's name.
I believe it's Lewis, but
he needs to make us remember his name
because he's got the size. He's got some size, and if he does his thing in training camp, again, he was a steal. They're saying 4th rounder, picked in the 7th round. So if he shows enough in training camp, they're going to want to find a spot for him on that roster. So
I think that battle's between him and Hogan.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yep.
All right. Well, hey, that seems to wrap it up for today. Mike, any shout-outs you want to give today?
Yeah, I want to give a shout-out to Bills for Life, the number 1 big Bills fan group on Facebook with their over 25,000 members. Big supporters of everything that we're doing here, and we greatly appreciate it. And I also want to send a shout-out to houseofvapors.com. For all your vaping needs, please go check them out. They have 4 locations conveniently located here in Buffalo area. So just remember, billsforlife.com and houseofvapors.com. Check them out, people.